So I guess a lot of people are focused on the statement that was put out tonight by Mike Bennett, a.k.a. Mike Kanellis. And he put out this statement. I'm just going to read a portion of it. Today, I asked for my release from WWE. I want to thank everyone in the company who has helped me out and who I have shared a locker room with. I love you all. I've been with the company for almost 3 years, and I'm incredibly grateful for the opportunity. However, it's time for me to move on. I'm only 34 years old and feel I have way too much left in the tank. Working 1 day a week is just not going to cut it for me. I came to WWE to work, and that opportunity does not exist right now. I re-signed with the company back in June because I thought it was the best for my family, and maybe from a financial standpoint it was. But I quickly realized that bringing my work frustrations and misery home for me is not good for my family, and I no longer want my daughter to constantly see me come home defeated, sad, and angry. It's not fair to her or my wife. Being a pro wrestler was and is my lifelong dream, and I'm just not ready to give that up yet. I wasted 4 years of my life addicted to drugs and not caring when I should have been having the best matches of my life. Now that I'm clean, sober, and motivated, I want to have those 30-minute matches. I want to travel the world and wrestle in front of UK crowds, German crowds, Japanese crowds. I want to feel the love and excitement wrestling once gave me, and goes on to say that he does not, basically, he doesn't want to just be sitting back, earning a paycheck or collecting a paycheck and not feeling like he's earning it. So I have reached out to WWE. They have not updated what his status is with the company. The key here being he requested his release. He did not state he was granted his release. I have no reason to believe this is not legitimate. I know that's kind of where everything always goes in pro wrestling. This sounds very legitimate, and he is certainly not the first to do this, and to mixed results. If you want to look at the example earlier this year of Shawn Spears, he did this publicly. He was granted his release. When it came to Luke Harper, he was shelved for a number of months, then came back with a moderate push that he was involved with, being paired with Eric Rowan. I cannot fathom WWE releasing this guy. He just signed a new deal that was reported by Fightful at the time to be for 5 years. So I don't know if this guy's just simply, he has nothing else to lose, so he's going for this, but I just don't see him getting his release. Do you see any different?
I do not. But, that doesn't make this, not interesting to dissect, because I feel like I'm really curious, what is behind the mindset of the person tweeting this out and what led to this, because you can certainly think of it as some type of power play. And if you're Mike Kanellis, what do you really have to lose, right? You're already in, I would say, one of the worst. You can definitely argue whether or not being in this current cuck storyline is better than having no storyline at all. And so if you're in a position
that's like arguing, do you want the gunshot or do you want the knife wound?
Yeah, I mean, either way, he's not wrestling, and that's what it sounds like he wants to do. But so if you're in a position like that, I mean, do you go ahead and release a statement like this so that you can get the audience behind you? So that maybe the company would feel pressure to push to release you, or if not, get them to push you, because you're putting the company in a position where they can potentially look like bullies by retaining you, even though you're basically put into the storyline. It's also the next time they decide to write Mike Bennett in one of these cuck storylines, will they be opening themselves up to more complaints, knowing that, hey, this performer clearly does not want to be a part of this? So at the very least, does it put an end to that story? I don't know. I mean, all this is speculation, but of course, I find it fascinating to think about what is going through the performer's mind when they are tweeting something like this. Obviously, of course, the company can just put him on ice for the next 4.5 years. Now, that would probably be for his career the worst thing. Now, at the same time, it might also end the storyline. So, is it the worst thing? I don't know, but I don't see him getting released either.
No, I don't see that happening. I think this is a guy that's looking at it. What do I have to lose by doing this? I'm already in a humiliating storyline. It's not like things are going to get worse. It's not like I'm going to get less TV time. I've already got minimal. I mean, he was just on 205 Live on Friday. So It's not like this guy's been completely just vanished. The Mike and Maria angle, it just seems it would come and go based on the week. There's weeks it would be focused on, and then weeks it's forgotten. This week, it was forgotten.
Of course, also no mention that Maria has asked for her release either. I don't even know if that's how that would work with her being out due to pregnancy. So
No, this is only centering on Mike Bennett.
Mm-hmm.
So this was only focused on him. And, you know, I just don't see this really going anywhere. Like, I think he's probably trying to put that pressure on them. But how much pressure was there really on the company when they weren't using Luke Harper? There was none. And I think that they're probably thinking that, hey, we didn't think any of these guys were going to be anything. And look at guys that we've let out of their deals that have gone on to be important. We've just signed this guy. It's tough. Like, you can sympathize to a point with somebody upset, but it's like you just signed a deal in June. June, like, you had an open door to walk out of a couple of months ago, and you signed for what was probably a really great deal, and that's kind of what you're bound by just several months into the deal. I mean, that's just kind of what it is. You've signed a deal.
Yeah, and the reaction that I've seen online in various places has kind of ranged, from it's clear sympathy if you're somebody who, typically sides with performers and maybe has read the statement, but a lot of people arguing you probably shouldn't have signed, and this is how contracts work. You aren't necessarily going to like the role that you've been given, but nonetheless, you're legally bound to, I guess, perform the task that is asked of you. So, is this going to work out for Mike Bennett? I'm really not too sure. Though, we've seen people complain publicly in the past, and in the form of somebody like Leo Rush, and he certainly ended up in, a much better role right now. So I feel like to satisfy everybody involved, clearly Vince McMahon has nothing he wants to do with this character other than to humiliate him. So why don't you put him in NXT? Give him a second life. Like, hopefully make him happy again. And prove that maybe this will be Hunter's project, to prove that he can turn somebody that was neglected on the main roster into something potentially a bit more valuable.
Yeah, potentially. You can't just take everyone, though, that's unhappy and move them to NXT, nor can you, I think, set this precedent that anyone that complains, I don't think they want to set that we will let people out of their contract just because they're unhappy and might feel they can make money elsewhere. I don't think they want to be sending that message out. And I think that's been pretty clear over the last few months. NXT, it's, there's certain reclamation projects you can have. But that's ultimately, there's only a few of those. And if you're looking at different options, I don't even know if Mike Bennett is maybe at the top of your list that you're going to be able to take. So, there's probably going to be more situations like this. It's a real fascinating time in the industry. Just looking at guys that can, they watch AEW, they see all the stuff that they're doing, or in New Japan, or even seeing something as small as NWA and saying, wow, that looks like a lot of fun. And I mean, Bennett was there with Billy Corgan, with David Lagana in TNA at that time. So, you just look at it of the grass being greener elsewhere. If you're not in a real pushed role in WWE, it's a great time to be a talent that's not bound by a contract right now, because you can go out, you can make good money, and you can be really satisfied with your career without needing WWE. But Mike Bennett, I think he saw the lay of the land, because he had 2.5 years before this deal came up that he signed for an extension. Like, I look back in June, it's not like Mike Bennett was coming into this without his eyes wide open to what his lot was in this company. I can't be too stunned of where he's progressed since signing that new deal. But maybe he was expecting something more with the fact they were willing to commit to him for 5 years, and he was going to get a lot more focus on once he signed that deal, and hasn't felt like he has.
Well, they focused on him.
You're right.
I just don't know if it's the type of focus he or his wife expected.